folks, another great tournament. The 2015 Trade-Wise Gibraltar Chess Festival being played in Gibraltar. Unbelievable scenery. Gibraltar is an amazing place, amazing place. World-class players, one of the top-rated opens in the world. Karl Nakamura, Topalov, ex-world champion, Huey Fan, you name it, they're there. Oh, a whole lot of English players, you name it, they're all over the world. And they all come here to Gibraltar once a year for the Gibraltar Chess Festival 2015 from January 26th to February 15th, 2015. Don't miss any of these great games. Hi folks, John Cordisco here. Another game from Round 8, what I'm calling All-American Day today. All three of the games I'm going to show from Round 8 have an American player in them. This is no different from the Gibraltar Chess Festival, the Masters section, Round 8. Daniel Naroditsky from the United States is white. Really great player, Daniel. He's certainly going to really show his mettle the next 2 or 3 years. He's over 2,600 now. And Nikita Vitiugov as black, one of the top 100 in the world, rated over 2,700. It's going to be a French Tarish. Let's get to it. Naroditsky is white and Vitiugov is black. He's 64. Typical Tarish stuff. I know absolutely 0.00 about the French, believe me. I always play the advanced and just try to wing it. C takes, knight c6, bishop pins, bishop d7, and knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes. Okay. Not the most exciting opening in the world, granted. Computer like c4. Castle's next. They're all close in score. Daniel went c4. Knight to f6. Queen a4. Queen c7. Guarding the c-pawn. Daniel takes. Vitiugov recaptures castles while he can. Bishop b7, and black's going to do the same thing. b3 to fee and kettle the bishop. Castles. Bishop b2. Rook a b8. Alright. Not very exciting, granted. This is all a book, I'm sure. And I'm part showing this game because I've never done a game from Daniel Naroditsky from the U.S. Or Vitiugov, for that matter, I don't believe. I might have. I'm not sure in the past. There's a lot of up-and-comers from the United States, and I just don't say that because I'm an American. Wesley So now has transferred his affiliation to the U.S. He's been living here for quite a while. He goes to college here, or did. He's in the top 10 in the world. Of course, Karl Nakamura. I mean, who could not? Karl's one of the elite world-class players. And even Gadakamsky, who defected from Russia or the Soviet Union. I'm not sure where he lived exactly. When he was about 15, he played in the cycle. He came within a hair's breadth of playing the World Championship. And we've got a lot of young bloods. Daniel's one of them. Sevian. There's a bunch of them coming up, and I'm real happy about that because I love chess and I love being an American, and so those two things go together very well. Anyway, enough of that. C takes, knight takes, queen to g4. Tiny advantage for white. I think Daniel has done very well at this point. Vitiugov is no slouch, 2735 rated. So he's doing good. What to do? It's not that hard to play. Bishop f6, bishop takes, knight takes. So now we're down even material, almost symmetric. Tiny advantage for white. Queen f3, rook. Now do you go to c4 or do you go to e4? The computer likes c4, but Daniel went e4, knight takes, queen takes. Hits the rook, gets the both open files. See right here, black got pretty good command of the files here. Queen goes to c2, good spot for that, going after the isolated c-pawn. h6, rook a to d1, Queen a5, go after the a-pawn, or at least make the queen guard it. g3, g6. Queen takes, rook a1. Queen takes, rook takes, queen e6, queen takes, rook takes. Double rook ending, symmetrical pawns. We see where all this is going. Rook f to a1. Rook takes, king g7. And that's what they called it, a draw, because that's what it is. Granted, it's not the most exciting game, but I thought I'd pick Daniel because I've never done a video with Daniel. And I'm going to go with an All-American Day theme today. So there's the second game from round 8 of the Tradewise Gibraltar Chess Festival. This is the master section. Granted, it wasn't very exciting, but we got to see Daniel, and you're going to be hearing a lot more about Daniel in the international scene, I'm sure, in the next few years. Anyway, Game 2 of All-America Day. Go USA! And as I always say, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye. Hi, John Cordisco back again. It's going to be something a little different this time. I'm going to do a little commentary, put my opinion on the FIDE presidency. They had the vote today in the FIDE Congress in Norway. They usually have it at the Olympiad every 2 years. And the voting was 110 for the current president, Ilim Bizanov. I never pronounce his name correctly. And we all know Gary Kasparov. He had 61 votes, former world champion, arguably the greatest player that ever lived. Now, I say all those things because, one, I'm extremely surprised that the vote wasn't closer. And two is, I can't even begin to tell you how incredibly disappointed I am. And I'll tell you why. I think chess has been set back now worldwide 20 years. Easily. With the Keystone Cops, borderline criminals that run FIDE now. I'm not saying that everybody in FIDE in the higher echelon is all criminals, but they're incompetent, they're self-serving, they're not serving chess. And for myself, who lives in the Western Hemisphere in the United States, I think for North America, South America, Africa, a lot of Asia, in Western Europe, the current FIDE president is a joke, and I'm being kind. Gary Kasparov wanted to bring chess out to the world. Probably the closest we would have been to worldwide coverage for chess since the 1972 Fischer-Spassky match. I was a young boy. I remember watching it long before the internet and barely after cable. Watched it here from upstate New York from a PBS affiliate out of Albany. I was mesmerized by it, and that's what started me on my lifetime of playing. Gary would have opened it up everywhere. Would have got huge money, corporate sponsors, just like any sporting event. Those of you, wherever you live, you're listening, for soccer, American football, baseball, basketball, tennis, any sport you want to, has huge corporate sponsors. You see some of the top chess players with logos on their shirts. Many of them. Sergei Karyakin, Karl Nakamura, Magnus Carlsen, world champion. The championship's a joke. It's in a nice town in Russia, but it's in Russia. And nothing against Russia. They have a lot of big tournaments. This should be center stage. As Gary Kasparov said, this is the crown jewel of FIDE. And now they're having it every year, which is too much. It's great for us fans, but in the millions and millions of corporate sponsors that would have come in, we're looking at TV coverage minimum in Europe, not just on the internet, but TV coverage like they do in Norway. I've seen that coming in a lot of countries. The United States has the best media and the best facilities for broadcast in the world. Nothing against Western Europe. They have great ones too, but the U.S. is the media capital of the world. We have been for a long time. That's not bragging. It should have been here at least one time. None of the corporate world takes the FIDE president seriously. And I'll get to the other point that I think has to be changed that won't, as long as this current president is in, is how it's voted on. Let me give you an example. Each chess federation from each country receives one vote. Let's see if we understand this correctly then. Say China, with its several billion people, votes for FIDE president. And a small country like, we'll say the British Virgin Islands, that maybe has a couple of hundred chess players. Nothing against the Virgin Islands. It's a great place. It's wonderful, and so are its people. Several hundred at best chess players. Where China has millions of chess players. Each gets one vote. That's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. It's misrepresentation of the entire process. To give you an example, in the United States, our government, when they go to vote, one house is the U.S. Senate, which has 2 representatives from each state. The other house is the House of Representatives, where it's based on population per district. So everybody gets a fair shake. Having all these little small countries and countries that this current FIDE president can pay off and basically bribe for votes is absurd. It's destroying chess. It's destroying the game I love. I can't even tell you how hopeful I was that Gary was going to win. That in my lifetime I would see the popularity of chess worldwide when I was a young boy in 1972 is now dashed, is now shattered. Probably never going to come back. Gary did the best he could. They spent millions. And this criminal that's running FIDE now, this is the guy that went, by the way, with aliens when he lived in Moscow. It's the old guard. It's the stuffy guard. It's the guard with no new ideas. It's the guard that's self-serving and all they care about is themselves and not the game. I hope Gary comes back. I know how incredibly disappointed he is. And with a man of his personality to lose, and lose that badly, I'm sure it's got to be he's got to be shaken. Gary, don't give up hope. If you remember your match against Karpov, you were 5-0. And that went on forever, and you went on to win the World Championship. Do not give up. Do not desert us people that love chess and like to see it spread to a worldwide phenomenon. And if all of you would like to comment, please do. I would love to hear your comments. I'm beside myself with... I'm disgusted and angry at the same time, and that's a very strange mix. And I can't even tell you when I heard the news, watching the Chess Olympiad today, about the vote. My heart just sank. I was almost ill because I couldn't believe it. I had my hopes up that chess would become a worldwide phenomenon again in my lifetime. We'll have to see how it works out, but for right now, the bad guys have won. Kudos to Gary for running a damn good campaign. Don't give up, Gary. A lot of us in the world and here in the United States and many other places are for you. Hang in there and don't give up.